Liverpool plan for exciting future with starlet poached from Man City, new contracts and Polish Eden Hazard. Inside Liverpool's academy plans for the new season after another year of progress last year was viewed as a successful one for those inside Liverpool's thriving academy. It was a season of sweeping changes to the management structure, but one that hinted at a bright future for so many of the talented teams at the Kirkby site. With Barry Ludas promoted to the under-23s boss following the mid-season departure of Neil Critchley to Blackpool, the U18's role was subsequently taken by Mark Bridge Wilkinson. Former Middlesbrough winger Gary O'Neill briefly came on board as Ludas' assistant as the academy entered the next phase of its evolution under the watchful eye of director Alex Inglethorpe. For the 18s, FA Youth Cup heartache did little to mask an excellent season of progress for so many on Bridge Wilkinson's watch. There were no post-mortems or serious inquests after Bridge Wilkinson's young Reds were beaten in the final by a strong and experienced Aston Villa side, a more physical and developed team that contained players like Carney Chukwuemeka, who had already made his Premier League debut, and Louis Barry, who scored against Jurgen Klopp's first team in January, simply just had too much for their opponents on home soil. The 18's 2-1 loss, though, only suggested that this was a crop of players who were on the rise. Second half substitute. Players like Harvey Davies, Jake Kane and Vyacheslav Yaros all made match day squads in Europe also, as those who went before them started to make their own presence felt. It was to be a proud night for Inglethorpe and co on December 1st when Liverpool qualified for the knockout stages of the Champions League thanks to a Curtis Jones goal that was supplied from Nico Williams's cross against Ajax. For added satisfaction, Caoimhin Kelleher also stood in for an injured Alisson Becker as the youngsters proved their worth to Klopp and his backroom team. Academy staff will have also rejoiced at the parts played by both Rhys Williams and Nat Phillips in Liverpool's third-place Premier League finish, particularly during the closing weeks as the Reds went on a 10-game unbeaten run. Those on site at the Kirkby base, however, will not be dining out on the fruits of their labor just yet. Instead, the hard work continues at pace. After starring for the 18s en route to the Villa Park friendly, those at the club are excited about the development expected from James Balagizi this coming campaign. The box-to-box midfielder has all the tools to work with as he plays his way closer towards a long-term future in the sport at the academy. Balagizi, 17, was brought to Liverpool at U11 level from Manchester as the Reds scooped him from under the noses of an interested Man City. Scout Ian Berrigan is said to have worked hard to persuade the Balagizi family to accept Liverpool's advances after City chose not to enroll him in the same private school attended by the likes of Phil Foden and Jadon Sancho during their time in the youth ranks. Another big season will be expected of Mateusz Muszalowski, who enjoyed a superb debut campaign on Merseyside following his switch from SMS Lodz in Poland last year. Described, gently, it must be stressed, as the Polish hazard, by some at the Kirkby Academy, the winger caught the eye several times, including a wonderful solo effort against Newcastle in March. It was the first to win the club's in-house Goal of the Month award outside of the first team since 2013, and while those on the inside have understandably tried to play down his development, Muszalowski looks a special talent at just 17. As the club continued to gear him towards a life as a professional footballer, Muszalowski was invited to take part in a mock press conference with local journalism students last year. The idea, for him, at least, was to get used to the attention and the questions that come with being associated with a club the size of Liverpool, and a first professional deal, signed this month, was always part of the plan for a player who the club fended off competition from Arsenal, RB Leipzig and Ajax for. Liverpool are close to adding another mercurial young winger to their ranks in Bobby Clark from Newcastle. Clark, who is the son of former Magpies star Lee, is an England under-16 international and broke into the 18s setup at Newcastle when he was just 14. He's doing well, but there's going to be ups and downs which every young player experiences, said Clark's father, Lee. Just as long as he keeps working hard and listens to his coaches and tries to do the right thing, then he might have an opportunity of doing something elsewhere. Liverpool are expecting left-back Tony Gallagher to leave either on loan or on a permanent deal. Sunderland are interested in the defender, who spent last year on loan with Toronto FC, and at the age of 22, Gallagher is said to be keen to leave the youth game to move into senior action, and the Reds won't stand in the way of a player who moved from Falkirk for £200,000 in January 2018. Another who is likely to be set for pastures new is Elijah Dixon Bonner. The midfielder has the blessing of those at the club to find a new home, and he recently spent time on trial with Portsmouth. Dixon Bonner, who moved to Anfield in the summer of 2015, is still just 20 and is keen to explore his options. The midfielder's family remain in the London area, and it is thought that he wants to move back down south after 5 years on Merseyside. Liverpool are not looking for any huge sum for the former England under-16s captain and are happy for him to pursue a new challenge elsewhere. It's unclear how much football the likes of Clarkson and Kane will be playing with the under-23s next season. Both have been regulars with the Liverpool first team at the club's new £50 million training base next door to the academy, and those inside the club view the pair informally now as AXA players given the regularity of their appearances with the seniors. Their progress has been achieved through the help of elite development coach, Vitor Matos, who remains in regular dialogue with assistant manager Pep Lijnders about the exciting talent bubbling under the senior surface. The move to Kirkby for the first team has helped keep the lines of communication open between the two setups, and it has made the logistics easier for those involved in the day-to-day running. Another player who could be making the step up next term is 18-year-old Connor Bradley, who signed a new, long-term contract on Monday. The teenager was capped by Northern Ireland in their victory over Malta earlier this year and was rewarded for his progress with fresh turns. If Nico Williams departs in search of regular action this season, Liverpool have earmarked Bradley as someone who can occasionally deputise at right back for Trent Alexander-Arnold. The club have handed out a flurry of first professional deals for the likes of Stefan Bajcetic, Cade Gordon, Callum Scanlon, Melkamu Frauendorf and Owen Beck of late, as the new crop of talented youngsters take their next steps towards a career in the game. And as those teenagers continue to navigate their own respective paths, there is plenty of evidence to suggest they will be given every chance possible to become Liverpool stars. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.